we're gonna be doing pop shove-its, but each of these pop shove-its are gonna be with different stances, postures, foot positions, so that we can talk about, have a discussion on, you know, what are different ways of doing the same trick, right? We're gonna use the pop shove-it as an example, or we can say pop shove-it, very similar, okay? I'm gonna be rotating from switch to regular stance. I'm a regular left foot forward skater. My switch stance is when my right foot is forward, right? That changes if you're a goofy skater, so just beware of that. Okay, now first, we're gonna start with my switch stance, and I'm gonna show you a switch pop shove-it where the intention is to get a good amount of pop. For context, I didn't warm up. I'm kind of cold and fresh, but this is what I'll do to get the most pop out of a pop shove-it. This is my foot positioning, this is my body posture, so on and so forth. So I want you to get like my whole body, okay? But also where they see my foot position. So from there. Okay. So I didn't land so good there, but you see that when I get on my foot positioning, this foot and this one are the forefoots are on the center of the board, right? They're not too wide, they're not too narrow. No, what is it? They're not too wide and they're not too narrow. But this one's like a little below the bolts. This one's on the center of the tail. That's how I do it to maximize a lot of pop. But there are others who do even a higher pop shove-it with their back foot, you know, their popping foot on the heel side. And so just so that you know, for the sake of exploring different ways, we're gonna try one where my front foot is a bit closer to the toe side, and then my back foot is on the heel side, so that I can balance out, right? And we're gonna try to pop it. Toe side, heel side. Whoa. Okay, so that one, the board kind of wrapped around my forefoot, my front forefoot. So what I'm thinking about right now is how do I get it out of the way? And what can that teach me about improving my pop shove-its? Now, I know with pop shove-its, what you generally want to keep in mind is that this foot, your lead foot, needs to lift up. And if it doesn't lift up enough, you might run into that problem where, you know, the board wraps around that leg or that foot, and you end up pushing it out just the way I just did. All right, so
come over there.
So I'm gonna do it again, same position, back foot towards the heel and front foot near the toe side. There we go. Okay, so it wasn't a perfect one. That isn't the intention right now, but all I want to do is explore different ways of doing a pop shove-it. That one did feel very sturdy, the pop, but it's likely not a position or a posture I would ever, you know, add on to or refine, because it doesn't feel comfortable. And I've also been skating for, you know, 18 plus years, so that's just not how I'm gonna do pop shove-its. But what it does teach me is that concept of lifting this front lead foot remains the same. Now, the first time I did the pop shove-it, I landed kind of unstably, and that was because I wasn't centered over my right foot. So I'm in my switch stance, and a lot of people gravitate to being heavy on the back foot, right? So that doesn't, in the past, that didn't allow me to get a good pop. Same thing as a regular, in your own stance. If you're on the back foot to try to get the shove-it, you're gonna be unstable from pop to land. So you wanna make sure you're on that lead foot, and I'm gonna give you the example, you know, in the switch position, and on the way back, we're gonna do a regular, you know, regular pop shove-it.
Come over there.
Toes were hanging off, so it wasn't good. Room for improvement, but we're gonna do a regular pop shove-it. Okay. So those were just, you know, those were displays of being centered over that lead foot and lifting that lead foot as well to get it out of the way so the shove can do its thing still applies no matter what position you do. Now we're gonna get a bit more experimental. I'm gonna place this front foot a bit lower. So usually it's about here. I'm gonna bring it closer to the center, and this back foot is going to be in the same place. And I'm gonna give the same amount of strength I would on my regulars, on my Swiss shove-its to this posture, and see how that, you know, what results in my input, basically.
Do one more over there so I can get your whole body.
Okay. So with that foot position, let me do one going the other way. Okay. So I couldn't really generate enough pop with a narrow stance, because that could be because I'm unstable. But what I did notice, it was so much easier for my front foot to get out of the way. It didn't take so much effort to lift it, because even if I didn't lift it so high, it's already off the board pretty much, you know? I can lift it here, whereas if I were to have it on a wider stance, my front foot has to come off higher, simply because when I'm higher up on the board, I'm already, how do I say this? Like, this is a bit more engaged than this, right? This is a little more extended. This is a little more flexed. So here, by default, if we want to lift, make sure our lead foot gets out of the way, we got to even flex it a bit more. So those are some patterns, making sure you flex, you engage, you take the lead foot out of the way, centered over that lead foot as well. When it comes to the back foot, you know, it's gonna be harder switching up this back foot position. You know, having it on the toe side, center, and the heel side is gonna vary depending on, you know, what size your board is. Do you skate loose or tight trucks? But the important thing is to understand you can do them in all these different positions. It's just figuring out what feels most comfortable to you so that you can get a good pop, you can get a good shove, or you can even do it out of a 50, right? Because the way I do a switch shove it on flat ground is not the same way I will do it, you know, off of a 50 most times, right? Or all the time, I would say. Sometimes, let's say I'm doing a switch back tail, big spin out. It's kind of like a shove it, right? With the extra 90-degree rotation. Likely, the way I would do a shove there is have my toe over the toe side railing right here. So it doesn't mean that the approach you have on a flat ground pop shove it needs to be the same on any other variation. What it means is be open to exploring different postures and different foot positions, because you might, you know, find yourself encountering a different variation where you have no reference point. So it's always good to explore, you know, kind of add to your board control and just play around with different positions. You know, obviously if you don't have a pop shove it, you want to stick with one thing. And so I would suggest, you know, maybe spend some time playing around, very low commitment, you know, so you don't get yourself frustrated, and just play around with what feels comfortable. You know, maybe if it's not even a pop, right, it's just a shove. Play around with what feels most comfortable, and then stick with that for a good amount of tries, maybe 100 tries. This is very, what?
100 is a lot of tries.
No, I'm saying, like, yeah, I know 100 is a lot of tries, but what I'm trying to get at is you want to know what isn't working, and sometimes you don't know if it's not working after the first 10 or 20. Maybe 100 is too much, but there is also this there's also this opportunity to you know, iterate. There's this opportunity to learn from the mistake you just did with the previous attempt and change up a little bit so that you have increased chances of landing the trick you want to learn. So in this case, a pop shove it, right? If I want to do this trick over something, then I want to think about, okay, what's gonna give me what tools, right? As far as foot positioning, engagement, centering, what tools do I want to apply, right? Think of your foot positioning and your engagement of the body as tools to do the trick, right? What tools do I need so that I can do a high pop shove it? The tools that I need in this case are make sure that my back foot is a bit closer to the center, you know, not too close to the pocket, but more close to the end of the board. Make sure that this front foot is not too wide because, you know, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to make myself work harder if I don't need to, but bring it a bit lower. That way it's easier to get off. And when I land, I have a bit more control on how to land, right? Whether I want to land a bit more narrow or a bit more wide versus where if I go wide too early, I might not have that much ability to actually generate that much power, right? Think about if you were trying to jump as high as you can from a wide stance, you're a little more limited compared to jumping from a bit more narrow stance, right? I don't even know. I hope I jumped a little higher. But point is, what tools do you need to accomplish the goal? In this case, a higher pop shove it. So we're gonna do a high pop shove it.
Oh, good.
That's
Should
good,
have went over there though, so I can see your whole body.
Whole body? Hey, I like the way that sounded. Also, another thing, the tools can also be, do I want a higher nose? Do I want a shorter nose, shorter tail, higher tail? Those things are also things you want to keep in mind. Damn.
That was good.
That feels really good. I didn't expect it to feel that good. But having said that, experiment, play around, be curious. Don't get so fixated on one attempt, which actually makes me think that the advice about trying one thing 100 times is definitely not good advice, because we want to iterate. We don't want to repeat without any opportunity to absorb feedback and adjust, you know, the way we need to. Having said that, that's the video. Play around with different postures, different you know, different dimensions of your boards if you like, different wheel sizes, truck sizes. All these things are variations of, you know,
Contributions?
no, they're variations of tools you need, right? So the truck is a truck, but there's so many variations. So what I'm trying to say is each truck is the tool, and it doesn't mean that you can't use the small hammer to accomplish a big job, right? Or a big hammer to accomplish a small job. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
You don't? Oh. Okay, what I'm saying is that you don't have to have like a perfect setup or one specific tool to accomplish one specific trick. It's about understanding how do you use that tool.
Okay.
For example, a lot of people think you need a high, you know, nose so that you can do a switch pop shove it, which is why, you know, you see most people skating switch with their nose, right? Because it's also the natural, you know, inclination. Because you go kickflip, then you turn around, you do switch. So what I'm trying to say is, you can do just as high as of a pop shove it with the tail. So we're gonna actually do one with the tail.
Go.
It probably won't be as high, but it can still be done. Right? Was not as high at all. But what I'm trying to get at is it's still possible. It's just it takes some figuring out to do. And if I explore and I switch up the foot positioning, I make sure I'm engaged a bit more and apply, you know, the concepts I was actually explaining in this video, then the goal is still possible. Does that make sense now?
Yeah.
Okay, so no matter what tools you have, you always have chances. You always have the opportunity to, you know, to build whatever you want to build. I was trying to be too like using an analogy, but you can still do your tricks. What I'm trying to get at is you just gotta figure it out, and the way you figure it out is by being curious and exploring. Having said that, that's the end of the video. Let me know if you like this video concept. If you're someone who's interested in coaching or lessons, hit me up at profe.carlos on Instagram. Otherwise, you can leave some comments, questions if you like. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.